Hey y'all, welcome back to episode 90 of the Late Night Vision Show. As you can see, Jason and I are together, which rarely ever happens. We're both dressed up, and Jason's wearing a Pearl Snap shirt. Right. That can only mean one thing. It is the week of the SHOT Show when we have a special guest with us today. Jason's going to introduce him right now.
Yeah, we are. If I'm dressed up, then that means I came to town. And we did come to town today. We are actually in Mansfield, Texas, which for those that don't know is near Dallas-Fort Worth. And we're here with Mr. Jeff Murray. He's the Executive Vice President of Sales of Cellmark. And before we get into that, I want to just say this place is amazing. We got a full tour. And for those that don't know, this is where everything Pulsar and Sightmark happens in the U.S. And we got the nickel tour, I think as they call it, and we saw everything from scopes being received, scopes being shipped out, scopes being repaired, all kinds of stuff going on here, and it's a really busy and exciting place.
Might have seen a ping pong table hidden somewhere.
Yeah, I think we saw office. A ping pong table. I'm seeing about trying to get a job here. If there's beanbag chairs, I'm all about it. But so he's sitting here. I want to go ahead and introduce him, Jeff Murray. Thank you for bringing us out. And one thing I want to say, folks, we get a lot of questions about, who is Cellmark, because they know the name Pulsar, they know the name Sightmark. So we want to talk to Jeff and maybe let him explain who Cellmark is and what that relationship in the U.S. to Pulsar and Sightmark are.
Yep, that's a great question. Well, first off, thanks for having me on the show. We did it last year at SHOT. This year we're doing it in a little nicer area, less noise. So right. Very happy about that. So yeah, that's a great question that we get quite a bit. Is who is Cellmark? What do you do? Kind of all of that. So Cellmark, starting off, Cellmark is the as it relates to Pulsar, Cellmark is the exclusive partner for everything Pulsar in North America. So we handle all of the sales, we handle all the marketing, we handle after sales support, we handle we have input on new product development. We always are giving info on what's happening in the market. Everything from A to Z. Mm-hmm. If it has something to do with a thermal imaging device that says Pulsar, there's typically some sort of influence from Cellmark.
Would you say it's fair to say, maybe not official title, but you act as Pulsar USA? You act as an extension of Pulsar USA in the fact of, if it's in the U.S. and it's Pulsar, it's all coming right through this facility.
Yes, 100% agree. We set the market pricing as far as retails, dealers. Mm-hmm. We handle everything from A to Z when it comes to that brand. Anytime if any end user that purchases a Pulsar unit, when they have an issue, or if they happen to have an issue with a scope, they're going to call us, and it's going to be a Cellmark employee that picks it up. More than likely, you're going to get Justin or a couple of other guys back there, and they're going to help walk you through any issues you're having. And if it's something that is our fault, then we're going to take it back. We're going to make sure we do our best to make sure your turnaround time is as quick as possible. Fix your unit or get you a brand new one right out of the gate. So.
And what I like is if you call that phone number, you're going to talk to somebody in this building in Mansfield, Texas. Mm-hmm. You're not calling somewhere else. You're calling here.
That's
so.
Right.
But tell us about Sightmark. So how does Sightmark relate in this picture?
So Sightmark is 100% owned by Cellmark. We own the brand, and again, we do all the same functions for Sightmark as we do Pulsar. It's just we don't officially own the brand. We take care on Sightmark. We do all the we have 3 engineers on staff that do all the design work. We take care of all of the contract manufacture that. If we don't manufacture it, we do a few items here in our facility here. You got to see some of our new machines that we're doing here. Mm-hmm. A few items here that we do, but a lot of it is contract manufactured out, and take care of everything. Marketing, same thing. Sales, distribution, marketing support, after sales support. A to Z.
So we are here in Mansfield. It's actually the week before SHOT Show, but Jeff invited us up. He's going to show us some new stuff. You're watching this probably the Thursday of, or seeing it there shortly thereof on SHOT Show week. If you see Jason walking around SHOT Show dressed like George Strait, he looks just like George Strait. He won't wear the hat. He needs to wear the hat, but his wife his wife begs him to, but he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I wear the hat. I just don't like to go to big cities in the hat because it draws a little too much attention. But one thing I want to say about the George Strait, I'm George Strait, but a foot shorter and not near as good looking, and I can't sing.
That's okay.
Otherwise, I'm George Strait.
So right now, when you're watching this, we are walking around the booth. We are checking out all the new stuff. So Jeff, we're here today. Everybody wants to know what's brand new. What are you most excited about for SHOT Show 2020 coming out?
So probably the most, thing that I'm most excited about is a new sensor that will be going into quite a few of the Pulsar products. So, we have the, we use ULIS, we utilize ULIS sensors, and there's no mistake on that. They came out with a new and have the exclusive agreement with ULIS on this sensor. It's the acronym is NETD, which stands for Noise Equivalent Temperature Difference. And the rating on that, the new sensor is it's 40 MK. If you see MK, it means millikelvin. It's a temperature rating, and what that sensor does is it's able to detect smaller heat temperature variations. So I want to say the old sensors had like a 55 or a 60 millikelvin rating. This one's got a 40 millikelvin rating. Right. So the lower is better on that. Different units have, there's some units that will be utilizing this new sensor, some units will be utilizing the old sensor, but it is a sensor that we're excited about putting in these units. And everyone's going to ask, well, what does that mean to the user experience?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, folks. So let's see what it really means.
It's going to mean a sharper image quality.
Right. Better image. That's what it means. Pulsar equals better image.
Yeah. The actual image from like the heat source itself, so if you're looking at a coyote, a peg, anything like that, you will be able to see little things a little bit, like the finer details a little bit better. But the major difference you'll be able to see is everything around it. So you might have a brush line, 100 yards beyond that heat source. You're now it might have looked a little washed out. Now you're going to be able to see branches. You'll be able to see like branches in more detail. You'll be able to see everything in a lot more detail. That is, I call it passive heat.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. Yeah,
passive heat objects that are not like living and 98 degrees like humans are or other wild animals.
And that could be important for helping to judge distance as well.
100%.
I mean, using that the sharper image of the surrounding heat source, and I think you described it well. So along with that, the new upgrade on that. I know Jason and I have been around. We've been down the halls and staring at people through these new thermals, and people walking around the corner waving their arms, and we've been having a good time.
I think they're used to that here.
Fingering all these scopes and getting to see them before everybody else gets to see them. We're very appreciative, and there's some exciting things coming down the road along with the new sensor upgrade. What else are we looking at?
So before I get into kind of the new stuff, if you ever see anything with the number 2 behind it, so Trail 2 LRF, Helion 2, that designation means the new NETD 40 millikelvin sensor. So
the only thing
I don't want to keep harping on that, but that's what that means, and that is again that is an exclusive sensor to Pulsar products.
So the only thing that's getting the new sensor is going to be you're going to say a 2, and then we're going to know that's what that means. It's a new sensor. So, now, and you might have said this, but I want to be sure. There is going to be an upgrade though to some of the existing optics with a firmware update. Is that correct?
Correct. One of the things that Pulsar prides itself on, they have an amazing team in Europe that does a great job with always looking for improvements. And there's going to be a couple of firmware updates come out, throughout the year of 2020. One coming out, in the next 30 days from everything we've been told. And it's going to have a new algorithm that enhances the image quality.
Well, tell us, we've got a bunch of optics and stuff laid out here. This is not everything that's going to be new, but it's kind of a buffet of some of the stuff. So why don't you go through and tell us some of the things that are going to be new on these optics for 2020?
Point to one and I'll hold it up for you.
All right, so we'll start with the Trail LRF 2. Okay. So again, everyone's very familiar with the Trail LRF series that's been out, the Trail's been out for a little over 3 years now. Trail LRF coming up 2. So the Trail 2s, again, they're going to be using the new NETD 40 millikelvin sensor. The biggest change that we have this year is We are only going to be producing these in 50 millimeter lenses. So you're going to have the XP50, which is the designation for the 640 sensor, and then the XQ series, which is going to be the designation for the 384 sensor. Nothing is changing with the overall unit itself. It's still running on the BPAC battery system. You are going to get now a color display and an HE display. So with the new sensor, the new display, it is greatly increasing the user's, experience with the unit.
And I want to say two quick things just to clarify. One, because I get this question sometimes when we say a color display,
right?
It's still a black and white image, but you can have color palettes now.
Yeah.
So some people hear color and they go, what's that mean?
But
color palettes, different color reticles, that sort of thing. And the other thing that I know that all the listeners that tune in every week probably know, but there's a lot of people that may not have heard that the regular non-LRF trails will be going away for 2020. Just
Correct.
The laser rangefinder models will be on the market.
Yeah, we're, with us moving production to Thermion and, just the natural life cycle of a product, the regular trails, basic trails, no LRF units are going away in the market. There still be probably some trickling out, January, February, but I don't anticipate dealers having much inventory past February. So, if you see one on the market with one of these guys, and if you love the trail, jump on it quick because they're not going to last, and they're great units.
A lot of people love them. We still, we
sell a
it's
ton
like
of
crazy, and people still call and want them. So
I want to say one last thing about the again, I know the normal listeners know, but it's important for people that haven't heard, is that the IPS battery packs got an upgrade with the IPS 7 and the 14, which are now going to be on the trails and the Helions. And without going into a bunch of detail, basically battery life basically doubled, correct?
Yeah,
same
close
price.
to double.
Yeah, close to double, same price, same size. Put them in a bag, shake them up. You can't tell the difference, but you get double the or almost double the battery life.
It's as technology progresses and as there's new and better ways to do things, Pulsar is amazing at being on the forefront of that technology, and their engineers came up with a way to
pack twice the punch.
Pack twice the punch in the same footprint. So
awesome.
We're all happy about that.
All right, what do we want to talk about next? It's like picking your hand.
I know.
Candy out of the candy jar.
Exactly.
But you got to close your eyes.
What do you want to talk about?
So next we'll go, probably our most popular series of rifle scopes, the Thermion.
The Thermion.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to go with this first.
I can't wait for y'all to hear this. All right, go ahead.
So one of the big changes we made last year is, everyone's, very familiar with. We went to the 320 12 micron sensor in the 300 series units, and it was designated as XM38 and XM50. With that 12 micron sensor, the base magnification was relatively high, and it did offer an amazing image, but for the U.S. market, that's one thing we pride ourselves on, is listening to the market a lot. And everyone came back and said, look, we love the image quality, but we want something a little lower base magnification. You were biting my ear off about this, biting Chase's ear off about this.
No, Jay.
I
can't tell you the hours of phone calls.
He sits on a throne of lies. It's not true. So those that don't know, the XM38 was the base model, and you're looking at a 4-power base magnification in the least expensive Thermion, then going to the XM50 at a 5.5 power, and we really liked those lower magnifications on the XPs, and so we wanted something below that 4 power.
It's really a regional thing because us being from Texas, we I think kind of the
piney woods of East Texas,
tighter
and closer.
And we kind of project ourselves in our hunting environment, and ours is close, shortcut, 50 yards, 100 yards,
right.
But the 4 power worked out good for some people, and it
the
was an
5.5,
advantage.
sure.
Yep.
But yeah, that was one thing that we were kind of thinking was that 2 power, 2.5 power, 3 power is the sweet spot. And so that's when we saw this and heard about this.
Jeff, tell us what it's going to be.
So for 2020, we are moving to the 384 sensor in the Thermion housing. Mm-hmm. You're going to have an XQ38 and an XQ50. The XQ38 is going to start at a base magnification of 2.5, and it's going to go to 10.
Mm-hmm.
The XQ50 is going to go from a base magnification of 3 and go all the way up to 12. So
you see what happened there, folks. We went back to the Q, the M, the P, that gets people mixed up. But the XQ is going to mean 384 by 288, 17 micron sensor. The XM is going to be a 320 by 240 at 12 micron. The XP is going to be a 640 by 480 at 17. I know that was rattled off a bunch of numbers, but so we're going to have. I'm going to go back over this real quick. We're having an XQ38.
Correct.
Which is going to be the 384.
Correct.
It's going to be 2.5 power.
Yep.
An XQ50.
Yep.
384, and it's going to be 3 power, base mag. But we're still going to have the XM50 at 5.5. It remains the same, correct?
The U.S. has a large, it's a huge market, and there's different game that you're hunting across the entire United States. Northern states are really big in predator hunting, coyotes, bobcats, wolf, all that kind of stuff. And then your southern states, hogs having that huge problem. So the northern guys really love a higher base magnification when you're calling in a smaller animal that typically doesn't get in 20, 30, 40 yard, 50 yards from you. You're having to make precision shots at 100 to 200 yards a night, which is might not sound like a lot during the day, but anytime any experienced thermal or night vision hunter will talk to you about, it's a lot harder to make those long distance shots at night. So having that base magnification of 5.5 in the XM series, we felt like fit a niche in the market that needed to be addressed, and so it's staying in line. There's nothing.
That's and I think you're exactly right. Tucker, who is a listener of the show with a Pulsar XM50, told me last week he shot a coyote. I think it's at over 400 yards, maybe 500 yards, and he has it on video.
He has on video.
Tucker from South Dakota,
I've seen
you're the
it.
man.
Yeah. It's an unbelievable video. And so, it does work for some people. But I think this, for what I say, that not just Texas, but the southern hog hunter, a lot of us are hunting in, more woods, brushier conditions, whatever, smaller fields and hay pastures and stuff.
And even if you're in like a couple 100-acre wheat field or cornfield or cut whatever cut crop you're hunting over, typically you're stalking within 50 to somewhere between 50 and 100 yards, sometimes even closer if the wind's right and the conditions are right. But once you make that first shot, suppressed, unsuppressed, whatever, those things, they're not dumb animals. They're gonna move around and they're gonna start vacating. And if you have a 5.5x scope and you're 50 yards from something,
that's right.
It's a lot harder to make those follow-up shots, and in the South in the hog business, it's a predator eradication business. You're not where these things are horrible for the environment, horrible for everything that goes around, and we're in the business of taking out as many as we can, and if this tool helps eradicate that situation, we're all for it.
So one more thing I want to ask is, though, we've talked about what's shaking up with the Thermions and XMs going to some XQs. What's going to happen in the high-resolution XP line, the 640 resolution?
Yeah, again, Thermion XP50, it's our workhorse in the Thermion line.
Sure.
It's by far our bestseller as far as that line goes. It is an amazing unit. It's on my personal gun. That thing is not going anywhere. That unit is staying the same.
And it won an award for best thermal under $6,000.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah,
so Jeff doesn't even know. He's looking at his
He's
funny.
like,
We're gonna be presenting an award to Pulsar. They don't even know about it, so we should be quiet. The listeners of this show know because y'all heard the podcast.
People call up all the time and they ask, "What do I use?" And I tell them I'm lucky enough I could use any scope that I want, and I choose the Thermion XP50. And here's why. Right. And it's a workhorse, great. I'm very excited, though, to hear you talk about the firmware update that's coming on.
Yeah, that firmware update does make a difference in the unit. And the guys that hunt a bunch, I would encourage you to download that new firmware update when it comes out. Right
away.
Hit that button and do it.
Yeah. So what about the XP38? Again, that's going to be right now it's a 1.5 power. The XP50 is a 2 power. So they're very, very close. What's going to become of the XP38?
So anyone that knows Pulsar over the past few years, it's been a very scarce product to get a hold of. We've been in a very lucky situation where the price, quality, and all that kind of lined up where it really worked.
Right.
And this year we're condensing the line just a little bit. Overall, like you notice with the Trail 2s, with the Thermions, we're trying to really pack have as little units as we can, and that way we can supply the market a little bit better.
Right.
So unfortunately, XP38 is going away. We just looked at what the market really was wanting and what they were gravitating to, and the sales for XP50s were, greatly outnumbering what XP38s was. And there's only a slight difference. You're talking about a half power magnification, 1.5 versus 2. So, we really at the end of the day decided that, we'd rather focus all of our energy on that XP50 and, really be able to supply the market with enough units for that, hopefully.
Well, I think that's understandable because the XP38 was $500 cheaper. You're right; it was almost the same magnification. I don't think it's a huge difference, but I think that being able to supply, hopefully, take all that XP38 production, put it into XP50, and hopefully be able to produce more of those units. That's going to make a lot more happier people than losing one unit, because at least you've got it. And rather than, everybody having nothing, maybe we can, actually get out there and get enough scopes.
Yep. Last year, if you look at the whole 2019 line, when you took into consideration regular trails, you had 4 versions of that on the market. You had 3 versions of trail LRFs, and then you had 4 versions of the Thermions. That was, when you add all that up.
We're not even talking about handhelds, folks. We're just talking about
thermals.
No, and you forgot the RXQ.
Yeah, the RXQ's in there. So I want to say last I looked at it was like 11 or 12 thermal weapon-mounted sights out there. Yep. Next year we're condensing that down to, I believe it's 7 models. And, we're real excited to hopefully be able, give the customer what they want and give them more of those units is our big goal. Anytime any guys that are out there that talk about production, it's a lot easier to make more of a certain unit than make a lot of little units.
Yep. Well, great. Well, we've got something that looks very familiar to me. This looks like an Accion.
It looks like an Accion.
Jeff, why is this on the table of good news?
So,
I like that. That's a good name, Table of Good News.
Table of Good News.
Yeah. So Accion came out last year. This is our more of a price opener handheld unit, very small, size of a laser rangefinder.
I got in trouble for calling it budget friendly, by the way.
Yeah, and
I think he called it cheap, but that's budget friendly is okay.
I called it budget friendly. I got in trouble.
I don't know. Less expensive.
So last year we had the key models, and then there was 2 XM. We had an XM38 and XM30. The XM30 and the XM38 are both going away. They're being replaced by what is the XM30S. So if you have an S on the end of that, that is a differentiation. It is a new screen that we're putting in there. The screen is it's definitely higher quality. You guys got to test it a little bit side by side, in a controlled environment, and it's a noticeably better screen. It's hard to quantify the difference between it, but it is definitely a better experience for the user at the exact same retail price point.
So the XM30 and the XM38 go away. They're replaced by a single unit of the XM30S, but the key XM22 and XM30. What happens with those? Those are the less expensive.
No changes.
Okay, what else we got?
Well, you want to go
right here.
The Helion. Go ahead, Vanna.
I'll be Vanna. And look, if y'all are listening to this on the podcast and you're still... You haven't gone over to YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta go to YouTube.
You have no idea what we're talking about. We're holding all this stuff up, but here it is. It looks very familiar. It looks like a Pulsar Helion. Tell us about it.
So the entire Helion line is going to be changing for 2020. They're all going to be using the new NETD 40 millikelvin rating sensor.
I'm going to mess that up.
Yeah, it is a mouthful.
By the time I'm NTED.
It's the better
sensor.
Yeah, it's the more good sensor.
It's the newer, the more good.
But it's a great,
but it's a 2.
It's
a 2.
All the Helions, they're all going to go into production. The Helion 2 versions are going to go into production sometime in Q1, into Q1, first Q2. And they're going to have the new sensor in them, which is going to, again, it's just going to give you an overall better experience with the unit. The only major changes of that, you're still going to see your XP50 and your XQ38, XQ50. Those are going to be your 3 workhorses in that. XP38 is going away. Again, we're trying to, limit the amount of units and get more units on the market to help our distributors and dealers give a better lead time and more accurately forecast their need for units, because these are a high dollar unit. This is our, again, the Helion line is our premium thermal handheld scanner.
Right.
uses the B-Pack battery system, the same one the Trail utilizes, and it's just our workhorse. I tell people this all the time. You spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a weapon sight, and then you don't do a handheld. And I think that that's a crazy thing to me, because at the end of the day, when doing the spot and stock or whatnot, whatever type of hunting you're doing, when you own a handheld, you're going to be looking at a handheld. 10 times more. 10 times. That's exactly 10 times more easy.
Yeah.
In a night, and I'll go out with some partners hunting. Some of our outfitters in North Texas and hunt, and we'll go out all night, and I'll burn through a battery of a Helion a lot quicker than I'll burn through a battery
your scope wasn't on for 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I encourage everybody. Shameless plug for handhelds, and I know all of our dealers that actually go out and hunt all the time will agree that you really should be budgeting when you try to get in this thermal category. You need to budget something for a handheld, for safety purposes, for ease of use, for everything, because when you're waving a gun around, to scan, it's not always the safest thing to do. And
not at all.
You're doing things at night. There's a different set of rules that happen and apply at night. So having a handheld right there that's easy to put up, put down, great battery life, all that, it's a must.
Yeah. Well, I know anybody who's listening to this show much or has as a customer of Outdoor Legacy knows very well that Hans and I are big proponents of it. I understand not everybody can afford it, but like you said, budget for it, save for it if you can. And even if, I tell guys this all the time, if you've got to cut the quality of the scope that you buy a little bit so that you can include a handheld, it's worth it. At the end of the day, that handheld's worth its weight in gold. So
I will, I have the luxury of, being able to shoot 640 technology, 384 technology, everything, but I almost refuse to go out without a 640 scanner. I'm deer hunting, whether I'm deer, pig, coyote. Family went to Yellowstone last summer, and that was in my backpack.
Can't believe this guy didn't have his XP50 on an AR.
No, I can't do that.
Well,
looking for elk and bear.
I took mine camping last week, and I used it so I could keep up with the kids at night because they were running around the campsite.
Sure.
And I could tell exactly where they are. And
that's a good.
But okay, so the last thing that we're gonna round out here.
Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about it. I thought we were almost out of time. Yeah, this.
I'm very excited about this too because, as we all know, the Sightmark Wraith HDs were a huge success, and we've talked about them a lot. Jason and I have used them a lot. We've
sold a lot.
I mean, it created so much buzz that I think overwhelmed a lot of people at this table, including me.
Yeah.
And right now, well, go ahead and tell everybody what I have in my hand right now, Jeff, because this is another.
You got the Wraith 4K, so everyone knows about. I call it its little brother now. The Wraith HD came out. We released it at SHOT Show 2019. Amazing scope. Everyone here at Cellmark, Sightmark, Pulsar, we're all about getting people into the outdoors, getting people having new experiences, whether that's night hunting, day hunting. As technology increases, new customers, new users, younger users, they're all about technology and wanting to do different things and share their experiences with social media. The Wraith HD, allowed you to record hunts, allowed you to do, a day-night system.
Full color
during the day. It's got, it's a great unit for if you want to, getting into the night. If you don't know if you love like night hunting, then it's a great unit to get you into the game. You're, depending on the hour you get, you're going to be able to, effectively, kill hogs, coyotes, whatever, out, 100 yards to 300 yards, depending on the quality of IR that you have with that unit. And it kind of took us, by surprise on how well this unit, the market adapted to this unit. And naturally, everyone wanted something, a little bit better. And we've got a great engine. I can't talk about how amazing our engineering team is at Cellmark, and there's 3 guys here that played a key role in getting this developed and listening to consumer feedback, like end user feedback and dealer feedback, to package everything in this Wraith 4K. And the second you take a look through it, it is noticeably better. Like hands down, if you have 2 of them side by side, it's not even a question.
Yeah, we looked through it, and it's really, really good. Now, one thing I want to make a note, folks, is that the Wraith HD is not going away.
Oh, no.
That is going to be the workhorse. It's still going to be there at that really good price point of $499.
Yep.
This is going to come in a little more expensive as an upgraded, again, 4K, super high resolution model. The image quality we saw out of it was amazing, and I'm going to let you say a couple things. I want to ask one thing because I know this is what our listeners are going to ask is, does this unit, as opposed to the HD that does not, does this unit going to have an audio recording?
It will have audio recording.
You heard it here first, right from the man, right here.
Video and audio.
Video and audio. There we go. Great.
Yep. So, talking about this a little bit, again, it's going to be a little bit higher price point. You're talking about a $799, street retail map retail for this unit. We expect to start shipping units sometime, April, May-ish is kind of the tentative timeline right now. It could be sooner.
He said April, May, so everybody's going to be calling in, January 31st.
Yeah.
Are they here yet?
Yeah, they're here yet?
One of the things that we do before we release it, we do want to make sure it's perfect.
Right.
And we're very excited about this unit. It's got an amazing picture quality. The IR has been upgraded a little bit on the unit itself. The image is upgraded. The quality of image that you're able to download is superior to the Wraith HD. All in all, it is just it's just a different class unit. And if you got into night hunting with that $500 unit, the Wraith HD, it's a great starter unit. It's and it kind of hits a lot of fronts that you can do, and the 4K version kind of just takes it up a level.
Yeah, picture looks great. Definitely, Jason and I looked through it. It is definitely an improvement. And you and I love the HD.
We do. We're both still got
and
them
we got one mounted on rifles right now and using them.
And folks, I'm going to say something because I know this is going to be. We're going to get a lot of questions about do I need to upgrade? Obviously. Hans and I aren't willing to go out and say we haven't used it in the field yet. We're going to do that, but I would say my short answer to that is that HD is a great unit. Yeah. If you've got it and you like it and it's doing what you need to do, then I'm not going to be the guy to tell you that you got to run out and sell it, because that is a workhorse. It's been tried and true this year. There's been tons of new guys that have guys and gals that have gotten into night hunting because of it, and anybody that's been a customer of Outdoor Legacy or a fan of this show knows that I'm passionate about digital night vision, because it's what I cut my teeth on getting into this, and the photons, the original photon. And that allows so many people to get in, and I say over and over, it's a gateway drug.
Yep.
I mean, it gets you.
It's
the gateway drug.
Or sell it to your buddy, the HD to your buddy, or give it to one of your kids, and then buy the 4K.
Now, see, here I am, should be the salesman, but that's why I hire Hans. Hans is the real salesman.
Hey,
I'm the guy saying don't buy, but he
get more people, get your family, get your friends into night hunting. It's a fun thing. You get addicted to it.
It is.
The 4K is definitely an improvement from HD.
We can't wait to get our hands on it. And folks, all these optics, y'all know us. As soon as Jeff and the guys over here get them in our hands, we'll be testing them. We'll be reviewing them on the show, each and every one of these.
We don't get to take these home?
I think we do. I'm pretty sure we could take them home.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
We're nowhere getting out of this building without getting tackled.
They've got these things on here. I don't know. I think that they nearly made me empty my pants to get in here and
strip
see
search on the way out.
They weigh me in, weigh me going out. Yeah, but anyway, well, folks, listen, we appreciate y'all coming back this week. We want to say thank you very much to Jeff.
Before we go, I do have something a little different.
Okay.
Outdoor Legacy Gear is officially the 2019 Pulsar Partner of the Year.
Whoa!
I wanted to surprise you guys on the podcast. Couldn't tell you before.
Wow! Thank you.
So you will have a lovely plaque that will be delivered to you at a later date. But it is official that you guys are our 2019 Pulsar Partner of the Year.
I appreciate that.
You guys do a lot for us. You're a big proponent of the brand. You guys are great with delivering content that the end users want. They want to see through the device footage, real world hunting experiences. Guys that are out there in the field that use the stuff and every single day. And we can't thank you guys enough for what you've done and supporting all of our brands, Pulsar, Sightmark, everything. But y'all are officially the Pulsar Partner of the Year for 2019.
Well, thank you very, very much. That means a lot, and it's an honor, and we do appreciate it. And folks that listen to this show, Hans and I talk about it all the time, but the people say, man, you're just always reviewing this Pulsar stuff. What's the deal? And we talk about it. Well, look, they've got all these optics, and they've got, more handhelds and more scopes than anybody else.
4 Thermions come out last year. We had 4 Accions. I mean, we just had so much new stuff to review.
So much stuff. Yeah, so much. And what we say all the time that, and this is not patronizing, it's the truth because we've said it for years, it's easy to do business with somebody that supports the end user. They care about the end user. They're not there to make a quick buck, sell a product, and then try to dodge them if there's a problem. Or and really, so it means a lot to us, and to us it is a partnership, and so we really do appreciate it. And I know that the Late Night Vision show's got a ton of Pulsar users out there, and I think after this year, all the new stuff, there'll be a ton more. So thank you very much for that honor. And again, folks, thanks so much for tuning in for another week. This has been the SHOT Show 2020 podcast, and this is our second year to have Jeff on the show for the main portion of the SHOT Show.
Next year I'm going to charge you, don't worry.
Next year he's going to charge us. Yeah, and we're going to be the least partner of the year next year. You get demoted to the bottom. So anyway, but no, it's been great. And so for Pulsar, you want to check out any of their products, you can obviously read about them at their website, but you can come to Outdoor Legacy if you're interested in purchasing. But seriously, we don't know about all these yet. We're going to get them in our hands. We'll be doing reviews. We'll be talking about them over the spring and early summer. So it's going to be very exciting. We're ready for that. But if you are looking for any night vision or thermal, you can check us out at outdoorlegacygear.com or give Hans and I a call at 877-350-1818. And you can always find Hans at the Hans ETX YouTube channel.
That's my cue. I guess that's the end of the show.
I think
all
that's
right,
about
guys.
the
Thank
end,
you for joining us. Episode 90. This is the SHOT Show breaking news from Pulsar. Thank you, Jeff Murray.
Absolutely.
We're going to be seeing y'all soon. We've got more breaking news from other things we're going to be doing around the show. Live clips. Going to make Jason talk in booths and feel really uncomfortable. Y'all stay tuned. Stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.